Oh, yeah. He was here.
Yeah.
Always.
And they left. Yes.
Yeah. That's only there. Yeah.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'm gonna call the special meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag. Okay, we have one item on the agenda for this evening, and that's the adoption of the budget for fiscal year 23-24. Entertain a motion to that effect. Alderman English.
Move to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Shelton, in accordance with section 7.6 of the Charter, that the budget documents submitted by the mayor on March 21st, 2023 be amended, and such budget be as amended be adopted as the official budget and mill rate for the City of Shelton for fiscal year 2023-24. Under revenues, we've got account number 001-000-0301-30-01, insurance reserve, our $500,000 increase in that account. And the account, I won't read the account numbers, they take too long. Under the current levy, which is 311-10-00, their recommendation here is for an increase of 105,000. Just 105,000. 105,960,661 increase.
Increase of $5,500.
An increase of $5,500. Okay, that was, yeah, I messed that up. The mayor's recommendation was to give it 960,661, and the final budget for the Alderman is 105,966,161, which is an increase of 5,500. I've been doing this so long, we shouldn't be messing it up. Other expenditures. Aldermanic meritorious awards, mayor's recommendation was $5,000. That was a typo, and the Board of Aldermen's budget is $500, so that's a reduction of $4,500. Under insurance reserve account, the mayor had no recommendation. The aldermen are recommending $500,000, so it's an increase of $500,000. Insurance reserve. In the Valley United Way, mayor has no recommendation. The Board of Aldermen are recommending $10,000 in conjunction with the Angel program for an increase of $10,000. This results in a total budget of $131,633,772 for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024. The mill rate shall be established at 17.
It's 2023, beginning July 1, 2023.
July 1, 2023. The mill rate shall be established at 17.47 mils, with a collection date for fiscal year 2023-24 to be July 1, 2023 and July 1, 2024 for real estate.
January 1, 2024.
January 1, 2024 for real estate. July 1, 2023 for personal property taxes less than $5,000. And July 1, 2023 and January 1, 2024 for personal property taxes equal to or greater than $5,000. And July 1, 2023 for the motor vehicle tax, with the exception of those that carry their own collection date as determined by statute under motor vehicle supplement. Any tax under $5 will be waived. Also, be it resolved that the Board of Aldermen accepts in principle the capital improvements program as predicted.
Motion is made. Is there a second? Second. Discussion.
So this insurance reserve, is this for our side of the city side of the budget or for the Board of Education side of the budget?
It's an insurance reserve that is for whatever is necessary.
Whatever.
We established an insurance reserve, I want to say 7 or 8 years ago, for the same purpose. And we haven't touched it, but it's still in effect, and it could go either to the Board of Ed or it could come to the city side, whichever side requires it, because despite what some people think and say, health insurance has a different number every single year.
Yes. I'm aware of that. And, you know, this year, it's looking like it's gonna go over by about this amount. So, but it's also going over on the Board of Ed side by possibly close to 3 million. So, do we really feel this is gonna be enough for?
Well,
both
this has got
sides?
this has got nothing to do with this year. This is in next year's. Okay.
Right, but this year gives us prediction for next year.
We're setting up for an additional 500,000 reserve. And the reserve, the insurance reserve can be used for Board of Ed or for city side, whichever.
Right, but the Board of Ed can't look at this and lower the amount that they are planning on putting on their side of the budget. Because it could go to either side and it very likely will be needed by both. So they still have to keep their prediction the same for how much they need for their employees on their side of the budget. But that's just what I'm getting at.
Okay.
And then my other question is, during the A&T meetings, Mr. Hiller, Finance Director, told us that the police pensions, the amount that we had to put into them was gonna go up by the state, and the numbers he was given were somewhere between like 24% to 27%, which is about $900,000. We're not looking at that at all, or have we gotten any update on that number at all to look at?
We're not looking at that. I respectfully disagree with Mr. Hiller on that, and the number that we have in place is gonna stay. They're making some changes to the structures of the Connecticut State Seamers plan, and I think they had a vote actually last week that will affect the savings for everybody.
So it won't go up by that much.
I don't even think it's gonna go close to that.
Okay.
And if I thought it was, it would be a recommendation in there, but obviously I'm not looking at it that way.
And then the last 2 years, I think maybe in the last 3 years, the insurance on the city side has gone over by, or has been higher than what we put into it for this year, the 3.9 million. It's been 4 million for like at least the last 2 years, this year, last year, possibly even one more year before that. We really don't expect it to go over 3.9 million this year.
Look, if you have a crystal ball and you can look into it and tell us, then maybe we'll go along with it, but you know, look at the last 30 years. You know, you want to look at 3 years. I mean, for me, that's not a barometer.
But we have to have some sort of barometer. We have to make some sort of guess.
Okay, so I'm telling you that over the last 32 years, 3 years has gone over, and the others it hasn't. So what would you do? You think you think it's prudent to to use the same number that you spent last year. Every year is a different scenario. With
Well,
health
looking at the
insurance.
last couple of years, if we average the last few years, it seems like it probably needs more than 3.9 million.
Well,
That's the best we can do is look at average the last few years.
okay, that's your opinion, that's fine.
That's one way to do it.
And we're comfortable with only giving the Board of Education another 2.25 million. 200, knowing that it'll be short of their, even if they cut out the amount that they wanted for extra teachers to address class size issues, cut those. And we know that there were, so far as 7 retirements, take that out, there's still at least 100 or 1.8 approximately million short of their request without any extra teachers to address class sizes.
Okay, well, you make the assumption that the request is correct. I do not. And I know that the people in the audience would disagree with me, and that's okay. But I've been at this a very long time, and I go through this every year with their request. And so I've said, and I've had discussions with the superintendent that, you know, there's a lot of things are going to change in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then we have the opportunity to reevaluate at that point in time, which we will. And we'll make some decisions from that point.
So we might change this in a couple of weeks.
We might.
All right.
Anybody else?
I'd like to read a statement.
All right, go ahead.
The board, I'd like to read this statement into the record. The board of Alderman wishes to thank
I'm gonna get closer to the
We need a bigger box. The Board of Alderman wishes to thank all city departments, department heads, the mayor, the Board of Apportionment Taxation, Finance Director and his staff, the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education Finance Director, the public, and many others for their input into and participation with the city fiscal year 24 budget. This spending and taxation plan will manage our city well and give Shelton citizens one of the most affordable tax rates in Connecticut. Despite the highest ever residential and commercial property values, the highest inflation rate in recent history, and the many self-generated price increases generated by the current occupant of the White House, Mayor Reddy was able to retain one of the lowest mill rates in the state at 17.47 mil, while at the same time providing adequate funding for all departments. This budget development process saw for the first time in my tenure a collaboration second to none between the Shelton School District and the city administration. We applaud the Shelton Board of Education for their openness, their willingness to answer all questions, and provide data above and beyond to promote understanding of their needs. They shared their problems, some of which came from outside our borders, and enlisted our joint efforts to get state lawmakers to revisit their unfunded mandates. 2 issues resulted in major concern. We jointly lobbied Hartford to change to the special education laws. It is far too easy to gain special education status when the school district has the burden of proof and must pay the applicant's court and attorney fees. We noted that another Hartford special education law requires unlimited special education spending, but the state has a spending cap, thereby forcing the burden to pay on the local school district. This unfunded mandate is unfair, but it gets worse. How does a school district deal with such lunacy when they set their budget and such 95 special education students enter the school district after the budget is set? Either they take the money from the mainstream students or they run up a deficit which they have no way to pay. This budget will increase our insurance reserve by $500,000 to safeguard from unforeseen healthcare expenses from self-insured healthcare plans. However, we're already seeing a drop in inflation in the areas of healthcare and energy, As recently as last week, bids for propane have dropped 25 cents a gallon, affecting savings in school bus transportation. We are pleased that the Board of Education elected to continue use of the city-run bus service, which remains capped at $3.15 billion per year for the fourth year. The Loretti administration takes pride funding pay-to-play for the second year, and we delight in supporting various student accomplishments on a national and international level. Addressing other areas of concern, such as renovating the Penn Stadium concession stand, making technical improvements to the school bus program. Consolidation of monuments and addition of a new memorial to the war on terror at the Veterans Memorial Park. Tonight, the Board of Aldermen will pass the mayor's budget based on the premise agreed upon by the superintendent of schools, Ken Saranich, and the mayor, that the Board of Education finish out their fiscal year, this fiscal year, and then the parties evaluate and revisit their fiscal needs. At that time, the state will know Shelton's share of ECS and special education money. Then the parties will sit down once more to analyze the Board of Education's needs and provide the board with an additional financial commitment. Once again, the Board of Aldermen is proud, privileged, and pleased to adopt a budget that maintains the ability, invests in our future, and fully funds all departments' current needs. We could not have done this without every department's full cooperation and participation from the mayor on down. Thank you. John Hinckley, President of the Board.
Yeah, are there any other comments? If there are none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
No,
One opposed?
one of those.
Motion carries, one opposed. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.